Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of complex variables and transforms. And this is our lecture number 11, which is mainly related with the Laplace transform. In the previous two lectures, we have studied the Laplace transform and their properties. In today's lecture, we will study some of the properties of the Laplace transform. Now, here is the first theorem of this lecture, that is basically the S shifting or replacing S by S minus A transform. It is also known as the S shifting theorem. Here in this equation, instead of f of s, we will shift with f of s minus a. Now, the statement of the shifting theorem says if f of t is basically f of t here is a complex function. So if f of t has the transform f of s where s is greater than a, in this case k is some variable, so then e raised to power at f of t has the transform f of s minus a. So the formula of the shifting theorem says that Laplace of e raised to power at f of t, that is equals to f of s minus a. And if we take the Laplace inverse on both the sides, I'll choose here a pen. If we take the Laplace inverse on both the sides, like we are taking Laplace inverse here, also Laplace inverse here. So this Laplace inverse and Laplace would be cancelled out with each other. So the equation e raised to power at f of t, where a is basically constant, gives us Laplace inverse of f of s minus a. We obtain f of s minus a by replacing s with s minus a in the integral equation, that is basically the equation of Laplace transform. The basic equation of Laplace transform is basically integral 0 to infinity e raised to power minus st f of t dt. This is the basic equation of the Laplace transform. Here we have shifted s with s minus a, so the equation takes the form f of s minus a is equals to 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s minus a into t f of t dt, because we have shifted s with s minus a. So equation takes the form 0 to infinity e raised to power minus st. Here in the exponent we have the property of addition, e raised to power minus t we have taken it out, and e raised to power at f of t dt. Here, as we have discussed this term already in the shifting theorem, this is equal to Laplace e of t f of t. This term comes out as it is, and this term is basically from this side to this side, this is equals to Laplace. So Laplace e raised to power at f of t. If f of s exists, which is finite, for s greater than some value of k, then our first integral exists for s minus a, that is greater than k. Now we take the inverse on both the sides of the formula to obtain the second formula of the theorem. Here in this theorem, basically we are saying that we are replacing s with minus a. Here it is basically we are subtracting a from s, but value a is positive, well said in this question. Now the Laplace transforms of some derivatives. Till now we have studied the Laplace formula for the simple functions, but we can also take the Laplace upon the derivatives as well. The transform of the first and the second derivative of f of t is equals to Laplace f dash of t is equals to s Laplace of f minus f of 0. Laplace of second derivative equals to s square Laplace of function minus s function at 0 minus first derivative of function at 0. These two formulas are basically very important formulas related with the Laplace transform of the derivative. Formula 1 is hold if f of t is continuous for all the values of the t that are greater or equal to 0 and satisfies the growth restriction in 2. How we have evaluated the formula for second derivative? For the derivatives to take the transform, if there are derivatives of higher order, like you have second order derivative, third order or the fourth order derivative, how would you take the Laplace? You only need to have the memorize the formula for the first derivative of Laplace, that is equals to s Laplace of function minus function at 0. How we have derived the formula for the second derivative? That is basically Laplace of second derivative, which is equals to s, as in this, Laplace of f dash, because we are taking for the second derivative. So Laplace of first derivative minus f dash of 0, as it was here in. Similarly, if we are taking Laplace for the third derivative, it would be s Laplace of second derivative minus Laplace of function derivative of power 2 at f of 0. Now if you further expand this formula, Laplace of first derivative, s comes as it is, so s Laplace of f minus f of 0. So the formula final form is s square Laplace of f minus s into f of 0 minus f dash of 0. Similarly, you can do here, you can put the value to get the results. So that is how you will take the Laplace for the different order of derivatives. Now the order of Laplace, nth order Laplace. If function or its first derivative of its n minus 1th derivative will continuous for all the values of t that are greater or equals to 0 and satisfies the growth restriction. Furthermore, f of n would be a piecewise continuous on every finite interval where it semi-exists. The transform of f of n is basically in series. Laplace of f of n is equals to s of n Laplace of f minus s of n minus 1 Laplace of 0 minus s of n minus 2 f dash of 0, so on till f of n minus 1 into 0. So for any nth order function derivative of nth order, you can take the Laplace by expanding this series. So this is important series from where you can get the idea how many terms would be included in this transform derivatives. Transforms of the resonance terms, the terms that are basically repeated. These kind of terms are mostly present either in the trigonometric functions or in hyperbolic functions or in exponential functions. In the linear function, resonance doesn't exist, but it exists in the trigonometric or the exponential functions. Here the function is given f of t, that is equals to t into sine omega t, and we are basically asked to find its second derivative Laplace. So First of all, we'll take f of 0. Let me show you the highlighter. Now f of 0, here we put when value 0 the whole function becomes 0. F of 0 is equals to 0. Now f dash of t. F dash of t, here we are taking the first derivative. So derivative have the two terms because we have basically two terms of t. Sine omega t into 1 plus omega t cos omega t. This is basically the f dash of t. Similarly, f dash of 0, here we have t, here we have t, so the whole becomes 0. Now f double dash, here we have to take the double derivative. F double dash is equals to 2 omega cos omega t minus omega square t sin omega t. So Laplace of f double dash has the formula as we have studied here, s square Laplace of f minus s into f of 0 minus f dash of 0. So we'll put all the values here, thus we can have the formula. Hence we have the final relation that is equal to s square Laplace of f when you have solved this equation. Now s square comes as it is, we have to take the Laplace of f. Here the Laplace is basically, we have to take the Laplace of t sin omega t, so which is equals to 2 omega s over s square over omega square. So that is basically the solution of this numerical. Similarly, we have another trigonometric function where f of t is equals to cos omega t, and we have to find out its second order derivative Laplace transform. Then f of 0 equals to 1, f dash of 0 is 0 when you solve it, and f dash of t minus omega square cos omega t. So the Laplace of second derivative is s square Laplace of f minus s, which is equals to minus omega square Laplace of f. Here the Laplace of the function cos omega t is basically s over s square over omega square. So we'll put this value in the function to get the final result. As we have taken the Laplace upon the derivatives or the derivative functions, we can also take the Laplace transform on the integral functions as well. So the theorem says, let f of s denotes the transform of a function f of t, which is a piecewise continuous for t greater or equals to 0 and satisfies the growth. For s is equals greater than 0 and s greater than k, Laplace of the integral function that is changing from 0 to t f of t dt is equals to 1 over s f of s. Thus integration 0 to t f of t dt is equals to Laplace inverse 1 over s f of s. Now the equation 4 says that by g of t, since f of t is a piecewise function, g of t is continuous. G of t is basically 0 to t f of t dt. Here what is gt? It is basically another variable that we have introduced, because in this we don't have the boundary conditions. If the boundary conditions are not defined for a particular function or its derivative, we'll make the function piecewise continuous and introduce a variable, just like we have solved the numerical in the first lecture of the Laplace equation. If you want to understand the g of t, you will consult that lecture, so you can have the idea of g of t. Now the differential equation and initial value problems. We shall now discuss how the Laplace transform method solve ordinary differential equations and initial value problems. We consider an initial value problem here, y double dash plus ay dash plus by is equals to r of t, where the initial conditions are y of 0 equals to k naught and y dash of 0 is equals to k1. Here a and b are the constants. R of t is basically the given input or the driving force applied to the mechanical or the electrical systems, and y of t is basically the output or the response that is basically given by the system because of the given input. So in order to solve it by the Laplace, we do have three steps. Step number 1, setting up the subsidiary equation from this. Here we have the main equation. We'll set up a subsidiary equation. This is an algebraic equation for the transform of y, that is equals to Laplace of y we obtained by transforming. Here second derivative Laplace transform, when we take the Laplace on both the sides of the equation, so y double dash becomes s square. This capital Y is basically y of s. S square y minus y of 0 minus y dash of 0 plus a. First derivative, as we expand it, it becomes sy minus y of 0 plus y as it is by, and this smaller r of t would be converted into r of s when we will take the Laplace. Now what we will do, we will try to separate the y from all the other terms and we collect the y terms. So y in all the terms are s square plus as plus b. These terms are with y, and the other terms are s minus a y of 0 plus y dash of 0 plus r of s. Now the solution of the subsidiary equation by algebra. So we will find the solution of this subsidiary equation by algebra. We will divide s square plus as plus b to use the so-called transfer function. Here the transfer function q of s is equals to 1 over this value, 1 over s square plus as plus b. This is basically the transfer function, which is equals to 1 over s plus half a square plus b minus 1 over 4 a square. We have multiplied and divided it by 1 by 4. Here q is often denoted by h, but we need h more frequently for the purpose. So the given equation y of s is equals to s minus a y minus y naught of 0 q of s plus r of s q of s. Here we have separated the y term. What we have done, we have basically divided the whole right side with this, which is equals to q of s. So basically we have multiplied it with this, or we have multiplied with 1 over s square a square plus b, or we can simply say that we have divided all the terms that were here with this whole term. Now y of 0, y dash of 0 are 0, so y is basically equals to rq. Here you can say that q is equals to y over r. Y is basically the output and r is basically the input, and this explains the name of q, that q depends neither on r naught nor on the initial condition, but it depends upon the constants which are a and b. Inversion of y to obtain inverse Laplace. Here y of t is equals to Laplace inverse of y of s. We can reduce it by the partial fraction. The basic Laplace steps are, here it is the equation that has been given, y double dash minus y that is equals to t, y of 0 is 1 and y dash of 0 is also 1. We will take the Laplace on both the sides, so it will become s square y minus sy of 0 minus y naught of 0, so that will become y. What is transform of t in Laplace? That is 1 over s square. Now we'll combine the y terms, s square minus 1 into y, and here on this side we have s plus 1, 1 over s square. 1 over s square plus 1 would be the transfer function. As we have to divide this on this side, so we'll equate 1 over s square minus 1, that is equals to q. So y is equals to s plus 1 multiplied by q plus 1 over s square into q. Now this term will become s plus 1 over s minus 1, 1 over s square minus 1, and when you solve this you will have this expression. Now at this expression, what you will do, you will take the inverse Laplace of this. Inverse Laplace of 1 over s minus 1 is basically e of t. Similarly, Laplace inverse of 1 over s square minus 1 is sine hyperbolic t minus Laplace of 1 over s square, that is equals to t. So we have solved this equation. The only confusing step in this is basically how you will solve this step. So I will show you how you can use the partial fraction to solve this part. Here y is equals to s plus 1 plus 1 over s square. Okay. You can see here clearly. So it will becomes s cube plus s square plus 1 over s square. Here you have s square minus 1, so you will introduce it as s square minus so now you have to solve this equation. What you will do, you will take the partial fraction a over s plus b over s square plus cs plus d, that is equals to s square minus 1. So now you will take the partial derivative. Recall your partial derivative concepts. When you partial derivate these terms, you will have this answer for y of. So that is how you solve the basic value or the initial value problems of the basic equations that are Laplace equations. So when you get the value in terms of s, then you will take the Laplace or inverse of these values and you will write them in terms of t. So that was all from today's lecture. I hope you have understood the lecture and the numericals and the questions that are related with these transforms are in the next lecture, from where you will get the more idea of how to solve the equations that are involved in Laplace transform.